I'm now going to add the components to the kitchen. So by the components, I mean I'm going to add the cooktop and the sink. Okay, so that one, and everything else in this kitchen is going to be created using line work at this point in time. Now already loaded are my families or components. So let me just be clear. Here's our little symbol for component. And if I was to come down into my project browser, you will see that that little symbol there, families and components, are one and the same thing. So a family or a component is something that has been created outside of this REVIT project so that it can be inserted and used over and over again. In this situation, I've already loaded them up, but ordinarily we'd go Insert Load Family, and you will find the appropriate components in our subject folder, and they're also uploaded onto Connect. So Architecture, Component, you can also see Load Family comes up in your Contextual tab. Alright, now with this one, if I hit the space bar, it will rotate for me before I start to place it. I'm going to place it in here. It should sit roughly, well not roughly, about 50 mil. It will vary depending on the cooktop and the bench top. Now you can see as soon as I've placed it, it's disappeared, and that's because this particular object, let's go and have a look at it in 3D, is currently sitting on the floor. Now it will just vary. You just have to check it out once it's in and not get freaked out. What you've got is this cooktop, and when it comes in, it sits on the ground floor. And can you see there's a host? So I'm actually going to make this 900. So depending on who made this, actually that's still not quite right. Depending on who made this, it may be that it sits on the floor. It may be that it comes in with an automatic offset. It may mean that you need to click on it in a 3D view and position it on a bench top. So it just depends, and you've just got to check it out. Now if I have a look at this in elevation, and I'm just going to throw a quick section through. I'm just going to flip that section so it's looking at the bit I want. You can actually see that 900 is still not getting the job done. I want this to sit on my bench. So now I'm going to move it. So I'm selecting, hitting move, using my snap point to click on the bit that I want to be sitting on the bench. So that end point there, I'm going to bring it straight down until it hits the bench top. So you can see 841.7. Okay, so they're not very difficult to do, and of course I can select it and I can rotate it afterwards as well. I'll just do that again. Architecture, component, this time I'm adding the sink. Right, space bar to rotate. It needs to sit 50 mil back, and it has a distance away from the edge, which I'll take care of shortly. I'll just put in a permanent dimension to help me position that more accurately. Alright, so I'll position this when I do my line weights, when I draw in my lines for my cupboards below later on. I can get rid of this.